Since this is my first video, I didn't know that my camera stopped recording after 10 minutes, so sorry about that. But hi everyone, my name's Anise and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about rhinoplasties, and if you don't know what a rhinoplasty is, it's actually just a fancy name for a nose job, and it's going to be about my personal experience, why I got one, how much it was, when I got one, and my experience throughout the whole journey, including surgery, after surgery, and now. So I got a rhinoplasty on January 3rd, 2017. I've been wanting one for a very long time, since I was about in high school, maybe even a little bit before. I was very, very, very bullied for how my nose looked, the appearance of it, and it was just terrible. In high school especially, people would call me Bird. They would say my nose looked like a bird, or I would look like a witch. People would scream names down the hall to me. Comment on my pictures, nasty things, text each other nasty things, and I would always get the backlash of it. I would always get shown the texts. It was just terrible. People were just very, very, very mean. And people would be like, oh, you would be pretty if your nose didn't look like that. Or you would look better if your nose looked more feminine, because the side of my nose, it was very long and it kind of did look like a witch, but I mean, that's not something you say to someone's face or even talk behind their back like that. Just not something you say. It's very mean and very hurtful and could make someone feel very, very, very poorly about themselves. But my nose, it did have a big hump, and it hung down low when I smiled or without even any facial expression at all. And this is just a disclaimer. I'm not at all recommending plastic surgery. I'm not saying plastic surgery is for anyone. And before you leave a comment below, if you do want to leave a comment below, just don't say anything negative. And if this is some random person is watching this and they're like, oh, my daughter's gonna grow up and want to get a nose job, or my daughter watches this and she's 15 years old, well, go fuck yourself, because if your daughter wanted to get a nose job when she was older, she would. It wouldn't be because of my video. So my surgery was on January 3rd, 2017, and my surgeon was Dr. Deluca. He's located in Albany, New York. That's where I'm from. And first of all, I scheduled my surgery date about 150-ish days, give or take, before my surgery. I went in for a consultation. I actually went on their website, and with this surgeon, you could have free consultations. So I put in my name, put in my email, put what I wanted to get, because there's like a whole comment section that you have to like write what you want to get. And I put it in, and then someone actually emailed me first, and then I responded and they ended up calling me. I set up a consultation. It was a free consultation. My first consultation was with Dr. Tauber. Dr. Deluca is the person who owns the plastic surgery group, and then Dr. Tauber also works there, but he's much younger and newer with surgery. So I had a consultation with him first. I realized that I didn't really necessarily think he was the one for me. He's a great surgeon. I'm not discrediting him at all, but I wanted someone with more experience, and he was newer in the plastic surgery area. I then did the little email thing again and decided to have a consultation with Dr. Deluca. I went in for my consultation. I don't remember the exact date, but I went in. It was like 150 days before my surgery, so do the math. I'm not good at math. So I went in, and he looked at my nose. He said, yeah, your nose, it could look better. He wasn't calling it terrible, but he was like, it could look better. So I went in for my surgery. He looked at my nose. He looked inside of my nose. He felt it around, did a bunch of other things. And then he told me what he thought his best personal opinion would be for going along with the surgery. He said, I am a good candidate for it. Get down. No. Lily, no. He said that I am a good candidate for it. Dr. Deluca, after my consultation, he sent me into this room with his assistant, and she gave me a pamphlet of the price information, of how much anesthesia would cost, hospital stay, etc. and I took my little pamphlet book and I went home. Just saying that I didn't talk to my mom about this. I didn't tell anyone about this. Not even my best friends knew that I had this consultation because I was very self-conscious about my nose. And I was kind of against plastic surgery, I'm not going to lie, for the longest time. But this has just been something that has been bothering me for so long that I just wanted to have a consultation. I honestly did not think I would get the surgery. I did not have any intentions of going ahead and doing it so soon. But once I met the doctor, I knew he was a great fit for me. Some people take 4 or 5 consultations. Some people go on the first or second one, and that's what I did. I just knew he was the right doctor for me. So I took my pamphlet. I went home. I sat on it for a couple days. I told my boyfriend about that I had the consultation before I went, so he was the only person who knew. So I took my pamphlet and I went home. Like I said, I sat on it for a few days and thought about if I wanted to try to pay for it myself or if I would go to my mom about it, because my family has a lot of history of the nose. Everyone would say, you look so much like your grandfather, and I'd be like, no I don't, because I knew the only reason they said it is because we both had this huge, massive, humped, crooked ass, motherfucking disgusting ass nose. So in my family, my mom has 3 sisters, and 2 of her 3 sisters had their nose done because it looked like mine or was worse than mine. I'm not really sure. So we went ahead and I took my pamphlet, like I said, I went home and I sat on it. It took me about 2 or 3 days to realize that I wanted to go to my mom and talk to her about this. I wanted to see her opinion on it and express to her how badly I wanted this done, because it really, it made me very self-conscious. I was always, when I met new people, I was always afraid to turn to the side because I always thought that they would think I was ugly. At the gym, I used to wear a hat a lot because I didn't want people to look at my nose. At school, I was totally embarrassed, and it was just something that I could tell people were looking, and I could tell that people thought I would be better looking with my nose done, but that's not why I did it. I didn't get my nose done to please other people. I did it to make myself feel better. I just wanted to feel more confident in my own skin. And I'm not saying that I thought I was ugly with my nose before, but it was just something that I personally wanted to do. So I confronted my mom. I had this whole plan set out in my head. I brought her the whole pamphlet of what I got from the surgeon. Since this is my first video, I didn't know that my camera stopped recording after 10 minutes, so sorry about that. But as I was saying, I brought the pamphlet to my mom, and I sat down with her. I opened it. I showed her. I explained to her why I wanted to get it. She knew I was very self-conscious about it for a while because it runs in the family. And every time I said that, every time that she said I looked like my grandfather, I was like, stop, no I don't. But I opened it. I explained to her why I wanted to get it. I explained to her the procedure. I actually showed her a video on what they would be doing so she was less nervous. I obviously showed her the price, and I told her the doctor's name. So she told me that she would think about it, and I didn't even mention to her that I wanted her to pay for it or to ask for help at all, because I am in college. I have a job. I only work a few hours a week just because I do go to school. I know it's summertime, but it wasn't summer when this happened, when we had the consultation. So I let her sit on it for a few days, and she called me a couple days later and said that she wasn't saying yes, that she wasn't saying no, but she wanted to come with me for another second consultation with Dr. Deluca. So we set that up. We went in for the second consultation just because she wanted to ask him some questions. She was concerned about safety. She was concerned that she didn't want it to look too crazy. She didn't want it to not look like it was me anymore. She wanted me to look the same. She wanted to be natural. There was a bunch of things on her list of things that she wanted it to look like. So we went in for the second consultation, and the nurse, or whatever you want to call it, she brought us into the room. So we went in for the second consultation, and the lady brought us into the to our little room where the doctor comes in shortly. She talked to us for a few minutes, and then Dr. Deluca came in about 5 minutes later. It was crazy because right when he came in, I guess he knew my mom. He knows my whole family. He didn't know it from me, though, because he didn't know that I was my mom's daughter until he saw my mom with me, if that makes any sense. So he came in, And he was like, oh my God, I know your aunt, the one who got her nose done. Well, one of them. And I guess he's very good friends with them. He knows my cousins. He knows everyone. So my mom, right off the bat, after she knew it was him doing it, she was like, okay, I feel a lot more comfortable. I've heard great things about him. My sister has told me that you're an incredible surgeon, and etc. So we had the second consultation, and again, we went home after our consultation, and we, fly. And we talked when we got home. I explained to her that I didn't have enough money to pay for it. And honestly, throughout this whole procedure with her, I was just in tears the whole time because I wanted it so badly. I wanted it out of the most things, and out of everything in the world, it was one of the most things I've ever wanted in my life. So I literally was in tears talking to her about this. She saw how upset I was. She knew that people called me names because when I was in high school, she would get calls from the principal all the time about people bullying me. People were just so mean. And so we talked about it. My mom is the most incredible, sincere human being I've ever known in my life, and she will do anything for anyone if they appreciate it and if they're nice to her and kind. And me and my mom were really close, and she knew how badly I want it, and she knows that I can't afford it because I'm in school. Now I have kind of 2 jobs because I babysit on the side, but I had 1 job at the time. I only got a few hours a week because I work at a tanning salon, and during that time it wasn't busy, so people don't work a lot. They can only give a few, certain amount of hours, so I didn't really work a lot. And I was in school at the time as well, like I said. So we talked it out. My mom, she agreed to pay for my whole surgery. And my mom is very, very hardworking. She has made a good amount of money for her whole life, and she's very smart with her money. And when she told me that she would pay for my whole surgery, I was speechless. I sat with her and we just cried. Well, I cried. She didn't cry. She's like, whatever. But it was just the best day of my life when she told me that, because I didn't know how I'd pay for it if she wasn't. I thought maybe she would give me half or give me a certain amount, and then she would ask me to pay her back. But she was just like, you know what, Anise, I will pay for this for you because I know how badly you want it, and I know how mean people were to you, and I know it will make you more happy and more positive and a more confident person. And she just wanted me to be confident because she told me that I was beautiful with my nose before, and now she tells me I'm beautiful with it now. And she just wanted me to be happy, honestly. So when she told me that, I was just, wow. So we went in again. We set up the surgery date, which, like I said before, was January 3rd, 2017. We set up that. We shouldn't pay right off the bat because you didn't have to pay right off the bat. They said you could pay little by little over the time until your actual surgery date, as long as you paid within, you just had to pay for the surgery at least a week before the date. So she paid a little bit at a time. And so I actually made an Instagram where I documented a lot of my before and after pictures. My before pictures before I got my surgery. And honestly, my Instagram account for my nose job was one of the best decisions I ever made. There were so many amazing, positive people on that I met on Instagram, and I honestly only followed people who had similar accounts to me. So rhinoplasties, septoplasties. If you don't know what septoplasty is, it's when they just go in and change if you have a deviated septum, they go in and change that. It's not the appearance, but it's this. You go through the same type of thing. Recovery, etc. So people, they just gave tips. They said what to expect on the day of your operation. They posted before and after pictures as well, talked about any difficulties they've had, why they got their nose job, etc. And so I posted a lot of before pictures, counting down the days. I can show you guys. I'll probably show pictures on the side throughout this whole video of what my nose looked like before and after. And so I just counted down on Instagram from my surgery. It was 150 days from the beginning, and then I counted down until my actual operation date came. I was very nervous, throughout the whole time, but very excited as well. I was ready for my nose to be the nose that it was meant to be, because God meant for me to have this nose. I know he did, but it's okay. He had a little mistakes throughout the whole way, but sorry. So I counted down from when I got my consultation, and honestly, the days went by so fast. So before I know it, it was a few weeks before my operation. I had to go in to talk to my doctor about exactly what I want so he can have it all ready for the day of my surgery. And after I met with him again, I went into the nurse's office or the assistant's office or whatever you want to call it, and ew, flies. And she talked to me about what to expect, that someone would call me asking about my health about a week before my operation, and then a few days before my surgery, they would call me and give me the time that I needed to come in to the surgical center. So, as expected, like about a week before my surgery, a woman called asking about my health, if I had any health problems, etc. And then at the end, she asked me if I had any questions. And this is where a bitch gets mad, because I had one problem with my surgery that was just a mess. So the woman called me, she asked me about my health, just wanted to check to make sure I was safe to get surgery. And then she asked me if I had any questions. So I've had eyelash extensions before I had my surgery. I had them for about 5 months. I got them on, and then I ended up scheduling my surgery, and I had them on. I didn't think it would be a problem. So I said to her, I repeat, I have eyelash extensions on my eyes. Will that be safe for surgery? And she goes, yeah, that's no problem. Just make sure you have no makeup on the day of surgery. As long as you just have the eyelash extensions, it's fine. So I'm thinking, I don't need to get them taken off before surgery. It's fine. So about 2 days come, and the woman or man, I forgot who it was or what it was. What it was. I'm terrible grammar right now. Wow. So, the person called and they said, okay, I already knew where my surgery was going to be taking place, but they just had a call to tell me what time I needed to be there. So the person called and they're like, hi, is this Denise? Blah, blah. So I was like, yeah. They're like, so your surgery, we ask you to be at the surgical center at 6 a.m. So I was like, perfect. It's early. I'll be excited the day before, so I won't be getting much sleep anyway, so I'll wake up and go. I think my surgery was at like 7:30 or something. So I'll probably insert a picture of the morning of and how exhausted and terrible I looked on either side of the screen. So I was like, awesome. So a couple days came, and it was the day of my surgery. So my mom actually had to come pick me up from my apartment, because you have to have a responsible adult or a person who can drive to bring you home from the surgery, since you're going to be on a bunch of medication and prescriptions, and it can make you drowsy, and obviously you can't sleep with all the anesthesia that they give you, or you can't drive after they give you all the anesthesia and you have a surgery. It's just a well-known fact for every surgery, etc. So my mom picked me up around like 5:45. I don't really know. The surgical center was not very far away, so she picked me up in the morning, and me, her, and my boyfriend, we drove to the surgical center, because I wanted my mom to have someone to talk to. I wanted my boyfriend to be there as well. So we drove to the surgical center. So we got there. I was literally in the car. I remember just like shaking. Like I was so freaking nervous. I remember just being so nervous, but so excited. I had so many emotions, and I was just a nervous wreck. So we walk in, like, oh my God, it's about to happen. My whole life I've been wanting this. I was like, it's about to happen. So we walk in. I had to sit down with a woman, give her my ID, make sure the person who's there is actually me. I had to sign a few papers, and then we went and waited for the people to come out and take me into the room. So we waited for about 10-15 minutes, and then someone came out and said my name, and me, her, my mom, and my boyfriend, we all went back, and we talked to the nurse, and yeah. So we talked to the nurse. She told my mom how long it would be, about the anesthesia, about the procedure, and then my mom and my boyfriend went outside and sat back in the waiting room because I needed to get into my beautiful gown that I had to wear for surgery, and I had to get my IV in and everything else. So they gave me a bag to put all my personal belongings in. I put my cell phone in there. I put my clothes that I was wearing and my shoes, etc. So after I did that, I got on my beautiful surgical gown. I don't really know the professional name of it, but my surgical gown, and I waited in the little bed that they have for you for a while. The anesthesiologist, she came in. She talked to me about the anesthesia that I would be receiving, when they would put it in, how it would make me feel, etc. And then the nurse came in and she put the IV in me, and I had a beautiful cap on that they had to put back my hair. And then I'm waiting there, and another nurse comes in and she goes, "Is that makeup on your eyes?" I'm like, "No, they're eyelash extensions." She goes, "Can you take them off?" I go, "No, they're individual extensions. They're glued on my eyes. I would have had to take them off before I came here." And she goes, "Oh," and then leaves the room. She goes, "Oh, 1 second," and leaves the room. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? I swear to God, if this makes me not be able to get surgery today, I'm going to be livid. So then the doctor comes in, and the nurse goes in, and she goes, "Sorry about the confusion, but we just asked that people don't have anything on their eyes because we have to put it was like a Vaseline consistency." They explained to me that they put on my eyelids and all over my eyelashes during surgery. And she was like, "But it's fine. You can have your eyelash extensions on. It won't be a problem." So I'm like, hallelujah. So they wheel me off into the surgery room. I get in there. I remember it. Well, actually, rewind. Before we left, they put my, what's it called? Anesthesia in my IV. They were like, it might burn a little bit. It's just going to take like a few minutes to kick in, and then you will fall asleep, and we're going to wheel you there on your way. So I already have my anesthesia in. They're wheeling me down the hall. All I remember is just freaking out for a second. And since the room was very close, we pulled into the surgical room very quickly. I just remember it being so bright. There was so many lights in there and so many people there to help with the surgery. So all I remember getting there, really, Nala? They roll me in, and I'm like, am I in Grey's Anatomy? And that's all I remember. And then I just was out. Cold turkey, out. And, by the way, I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan, so I was just like, oh my God, am I in Grey's Anatomy? Being the stupid fucking bitch I am. So I wake up from surgery. I remember being very, very drowsy. And all I remember is feeling cold pressure on my face. And I was like, all I was saying is, someone take this off my eyes. Someone take this off my eyes. Because it was just cold on my eyes. I was like, what is on my eyes? I couldn't see anything. I was freaking out. I was like, what is on my eyes? And the nurse comes in. She's like, oh, we had an ice pack on your eyes to help with the swelling. And so they took it off my eyes, and I opened my eyes, and I was just like, it was so crusty to open my eyes. It was just a mess. I remember it just feeling so stuck together from all the stupid freaking Vaseline in my eyes. I was just a mess. So I was like, can you bring my mom and Carlos in? Carlos is my boyfriend, by the way. I was like, please bring them in. I just want to see them. I'm like tired and cranky. I just want to go home. I wasn't in much pain at the time because the anesthesia still didn't wear off. But I do remember just being very uncomfortable. So they came in. My mom was like, oh my God. She hates seeing people in pain or if they look like they're in pain. So she's like, oh my God, you look like freaking shit. So they come in, and we just sat there for a little while. They took the IV out of me. They just wanted the anesthesia to wear off a little bit more before they sent me home. So a few minutes went by, like 10-15 minutes. The nurse came back in. She gave me my clothes. She said I could get dressed. So my mom and boyfriend left. I got dressed. The nurse helped me because I was still kind of out of it. And then they put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me out to the waiting room where my mom and boyfriend were. And then my mom pulled the car up front, and then the nurse wheeled me out and helped me get into the seat. And I got home, and my mom brought me home, and she stayed with me at my apartment for a while, and it was just a mess. It was just such a mess. So she had my pain medicine. She had the medicine, so if I feel nauseous, it would stop that. And I also had medicine that helped the swelling. It helped with the swelling. If you want to know like more about questions, if you have any more questions, I could always do a question and answer about my surgery. But I could look up the name. I don't remember it right now. But I had a medicine that the doctor gave me to help with swelling, and to help. Then there was another one to help with the bruising because I was very bruised. I'll probably insert a picture here the day I came out of surgery and what I looked like. You could probably see my Vaseline eyelashes, and I was just bruised. So I had a cast on my nose for 7 days. I basically was in bed for the first, I would say I didn't move from bed for at least like 2 to 3 days. It was very uncomfortable to sleep. I had a neck like travel pillow that I slept with because I wasn't able to turn on my sides. Because they told me I had to sleep sitting up since my nose is so like congested and filled with blood. And I had like a drip pad under for the first day, so any excess blood that was coming out would just go under the drip pad. And I had to drink water out of a straw. I basically ate yogurt, soup, drink water. That's all I really had for the first like 3 days, because also my top lip was very swollen and numb because they cut open under my nose right here. So all of this was affected as well. I couldn't smile for the longest time. It was just a mess. So I had to drink out of a straw for about a while because my mouth was a mess. And honestly, my bruising was freaking awful. Some people, I looked at all of my people on Instagram, I always saw like right after they had surgery, I was like, oh, their bruising's not that bad, or oh, their bruising's really bad. And I was like praying that my bruising would not be bad, especially since I had the medicine that I had to take 3 days prior to my surgery that would prepare me for that. My bruising was awful. I had bruising all under my eyes. My eyelids were completely purple. It looked like I had purple eyeshadow on them for a while. And my face looked like a chipmunk. It was disgusting. It was literally a mess. But my pain level was like a 1 or a 2, honestly, for the whole time. Because it wasn't a lot of pain. It was just an very uncomfortable feeling because I could not breathe through my nose at all. It was literally stuffed with dry blood, and I couldn't. Hi, Nolly. Hi, baby, come here. It was stuck with dry blood, and I couldn't breathe out of it, and I had to sleep sitting up, and I just didn't get very much sleep, and I just felt like shit for a while. My boyfriend helped me out a lot. I couldn't drive. I didn't work for the whole time until I got my cast off. And one of my main things was the doctor was like, oh, you can't exercise for a long time. I was like, fuck you. Because I guess if your heart, or if you get your blood pumping, your nose is more capable of swelling. Is that the right word? Capable? I don't know. But so the 7 days, it took forever. I documented every day. I'll probably post pictures that I post on my Instagram somewhere around here of each day, and it was just awful. So the day of my cast removal came up. It was like 7 days after my surgery, or 6 days or something. I went to Dr. Deluca's office. I came in, talked to the lady, the receptionist, and we sat down for a few minutes until the nurse called us into the room. We went and we waited for a little while. My boyfriend also came, and my mom came as well. Because, again, I couldn't drive on my pain medication, so someone had to drive me, and my mom wanted to meet us there anyways. Hi, Lily. And so, really? And so, we went in, Dr. Deluca came in. I was very nervous about this because a lot of my followers on Instagram, my Instagram, and the people I follow, they talked about how cast removal was the most painful day because that's when if your stitches aren't dissolvable, that's when they take them out. And the whole taking off the cast is a lot of pressure on your nose. And since my nose was still very sensitive, I was expecting the worst. So I went in, I laid back on the chair, and the first thing he did was take out the stitches. And let me tell you, that shit hurt. Oh my fucking God. It hurt so bad. My pain was literally a 1 or 2 the whole recovery so far, and the stitches was like an 8. It was terrible. He had to cut in between each stitch and then pull it out, and then cut in between it and pull it out. Oh. And then cut in between it and then pull it out. All of the stitches. Thankfully, I didn't have stitches on the side. It was just right under, right here. And so that hurt so bad. My eyes were just watering the whole time. It hurt so bad. And my mom was like, oh my God, is she okay? Because I was like, I was like crying and like a mess. It was terrible. And so after that, he took the cast off. How they did that, he like put a metal utensil like under it and like pulled it off. That didn't hurt that bad. It was probably like a 4 on the pain scale. But it was just uncomfortable because it was a lot of pressure and he was like pushing on my nose to get it off. So that wasn't bad. But let me tell you the worst part. You want to know the worst part, Lily? When he took a metal utensil and put it on my nose. It was scraping the dried blood off my nose and both nostrils. Just like scraping it. And it was just falling all over me. It was so painful. That was more painful than the stitches being taken out. That was like a freaking 9 or 10, honestly. That hurt so bad. Because my nose is obviously still very, like, raw and, like, sore. And just, like, in my freaking nostrils. It hurt so bad. So after that, the pain was over. My nose is sore and my eyes were watering and I was just sweating crazy because I was like, oh, this is terrible. So after that, he brought me over a mirror and I looked at my nose and I was just like, he put the mirror in front of me. I was just like, is this really me? Like, it looked so freaking good. I was just shocked. I literally could not believe it was me. He did an amazing job. He did exactly what I asked him to. He lifted my tip and he took away the hump and made my nose sloped. He made my nostrils a little bit smaller. I don't think that was on purpose. I think it just came with the surgery, which is what I wanted. And he made my tip a lot shorter and like lifted a little bit. So I looked in the mirror, I was in awe. Of course, like any surgery, I was going to be very, very swollen for a while. So my nose at that time was very swollen. I'll insert a picture somewhere around here. My nose the day of cast removal. It was very, very swollen. But it looked amazing. It was exactly what I wanted. It looked amazing. So he explained to me that swelling would take up to a year, a freaking year, to reduce completely. And that my nose would be very tender to the touch for a while, especially my tip, because that's where a lot of the work was done and a lot of work was done up here. So it's very like rock hard almost still. And well, not everything is, but my tip is very like hard still. And that it would take up to a year for the swelling to go down completely. So that was kind of not great, but it was worth it. Honestly, it was worth it. So the day of my cast removal, I went to the gym, of course, like go me. And I also went to Sephora to see what kind of concealer I should use to put under my eyes because I didn't wear any makeup for the longest time, like while I had my cast on, obviously, because my skin was awful. It was so terrible after I got my cast off. It was just disgusting for the longest time after I had my surgery. And so I needed a good concealer to hide my bruises and my swelling, or yes, my bruises, because it was on my eye cell and under my eyes, and it was just very, very purple blue and didn't look good, and I didn't want people to think I got beat up. So So I went to the gym. I didn't wear any concealer that day because I got it after I went. So I had a hat on the whole time at the gym. And I didn't do much because he told me not to do anything like too crazy, because if I did, my nose would swell more. So I just like walked on the treadmill, I think, for a little while. I did like very light weights. And yeah, so I was at the gym. And honestly, I was contemplating for a while if I wanted to post it on my personal Instagram that I got my nose done, because obviously people would know I got it done because it was a very, very big change. People would talk either way. I didn't really care about that. And I was going back and forth if I wanted to post it on my personal Instagram for a while, because obviously people are going to know it's not a slight difference. It was very, very different. And I didn't want people to think I was hiding it. I didn't want people to talk behind my back like, oh, did she get surgery? Like, she definitely did. Like, why is she lying about it? So I made the decision. I put a before and after picture into a collage, and I wrote this long, huge caption. I can read it to you guys if you want. And it was very, very hard for me to post this because I wanted people to who go through or been through what I've been through to understand that it's okay, and to understand that there's a lot of bullies out there and people are going to judge you for whatever you do. So I was just thinking, if I'm going to get this done, I want to be an advocate. And I want to share my story and share with others what I went through, and hopefully be able to help others as well. Because after I posted this, so many people messaged me. I had so many comments on this picture. It was incredible. The amount of people who reached out to me and told me that they thought I was beautiful no matter what, and that I didn't need to get this done, and that they're sorry that I went through what I went through. Even some of the freaking bullies messaged me and were like, I'm so sorry that I put you through that. Like, I'm so sorry, I was so young and immature. Like, yeah, fucking bitch, you were. So let me find this. It was a while ago. So I don't think you can see this, but this is the picture that I shared, and this is what I wrote. To the bullies, you know who you are. I'm still very swollen and a lot will change within the next few months, but ... I've been going back and forth between posting this to my personal Instagram, but let's be honest, people are going to know and people are going to talk regardless. Disclaimer, I am not, I repeat, not promoting plastic surgery in any way, shape, or form. I'm simply telling my personal story. So like I said before, I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying everyone should get it. I just want to share my personal story and what I went through. The bullying about my nose began when I was in middle school. You look like a bird. Your nose makes you look like a witch. You'd be prettier with a different nose. And so on and so on. My nose bothered me more than it ever should have. Of course, I never mentioned that to anyone in high school because I was embarrassed. 4 years ago in high school, getting a rhinoplasty didn't seem like an option to me. However, 4 years later, it was finally a possibility. I've had a constant lack of confidence in my nose since I was about in 8th or ninth grade. Recently, I was able to fix something. Not for anyone else, but for me. And I can't believe it. I can't believe I didn't do it sooner. I hated myself for hating myself. To be honest, sometimes I still do. If only I hadn't let the bullies get to me. If only I hadn't accepted societal standards of beauty. If only I defined my self-worth somewhere other than in the mirror. When I was at my lowest, feeling hopelessly ugly, I would tell myself the same thing. I will fix it one day. And so I did. After surgery, I've noticed how much happier and carefree I am. I don't worry about my appearance and even have started to wear less makeup. I feel confident talking to others, and not once have I felt insecure about my nose. Getting surgery was the best thing I could have ever done for my well-being. My lesson learned is to not let anyone tell you what is wrong with yourself. It should be you and only you to decide your happiness. You can sift through every word I wrote and find your own justification to discredit my decision. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one with the real responsibility to confront my insecurities, just as you're the only one who confront yours. Love, A. And that picture got 317 likes and almost like 80 comments. And so many people messaged me. Some people even said that, I want to get a surgery. Can you tell me what you went through? Can you tell me the price of your surgery. Can you tell me who your doctor was? Because they wanted to know, and they wanted to feel comfort, and they wanted to see what someone else has been through and kind of relate it to themselves and try to make a decision of what they wanted to do. So after my surgery, I posted that picture. My swelling it took a long time to go down, and it still isn't completely healed, or it still has a lot of swelling. So this is my side view from this side. This is my view from this side. And then from the front, obviously, and up and down. And so obviously there's a lot of other things I can talk about. And if you guys want to know anything about my surgery, how much it costs, any more details about medicine, pain, medication, if you want me to write a list of what I got, or any questions at all, just comment below. And I will post before and after pictures in here. And yeah, I can do a question and answer. I can do anything else about my surgery if you guys have any other questions. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video about my rhinoplasty experience. If you guys have any other questions or concerns, you can write in the comment below. All my socials are at Anise_Kimberly. If you have any questions or concerns, just comment in below, and make sure you subscribe to see future videos. I'm probably going to do videos in the future about question and answer, about my hyperhidrosis that I have. I'm going to do makeup tutorials, maybe. I'm not very good at makeup, but maybe about my eyelash extensions and anything else. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Kisses. So thank you, Dr. Deluca and your team, for being so nice and being so helpful with me throughout this whole procedure and making me feel so comfortable.